this? This is in the top left-hand side, our red Terran player. Okay, give it a second. There we go. On the top left-hand side, our red Terran player is Oliveira, taking on the blue Protoss in the bottom right, herO. I'm going to need the ESL logo, but the ESL logo is going to be right underneath. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to turn the puzzles thing off on my in-game, I think. I think that makes sense. That's all good. Perfect. Alrighty, guys. So, we got ready to a rumble here. Some PvT action. Teammates, of course, Oliveira and herO, Terran and Protoss, Dragon Gaming leaders. I say that leaders because between Oliveira, herO, and Dark, would you set aside one certain leader? No, I don't think so. They are the three main characters of Dragon Gaming. They are the three that if you want to go out and win a WTL match, those are the three you send out, you know? So yeah, we'll see what these two get up to. They play a lot in the Open Cups recently. Been casting them quite a lot of the time actually when it comes to these Open Cups. They've been just playing in a few of these competitions, and their seeding just means that they meet a lot. You know, when the thing is that the ESL Cups are done by like a seeding of ESL points, so until something drastic happens, e.g. the end of a GSL season, or the you know, or like an event like Atlanta, until those events happen, we don't really have much difference in the bracket each week. As you know, as long as the same players sign up each week, you roughly have the same seeds 1 through 8 or thereabouts. And it just so happens that these two oftentimes are seed 8, seed 9. Because to be fair, I think you can probably go through these cups and point out, oh, this guy here, that guy there, yep, he's there each week. You know, Bjorn's always here, Dark's always here, Kia's always here. You know. So the seeding kind of remains the same. So we see these two kind of meet, maybe not every week, but sometimes it turns out that even when the seeds change slightly, you know, they're still going to meet like a bit deeper down the bracket or something, for example. So yeah, interesting. Interesting that it keeps happening because, like I said, I've casted these guys a bunch lately. Generally, herO has gotten the better of Oliveira in these Open Cups. Generally, herO has kind of just put Oliveira's light out pretty quickly. I wouldn't say they've been super competitive games from Oliveira even. They've just been kind of like herO really showing up strong and saying, no, sorry teammate, not today. Is kind of the way that's gone in general, so yeah. Let me have a look at their history though, because I feel as though my whole point was leading to this idea that there was a time when Oliveira more recently actually did get the better of herO, start to fight back a little bit. No, actually, so 4 times in a row herO has beaten Oliveira, and that is in 3 Open Cups, number 193, 194, and 195. I believe this is Open Cup number 199. So they actually didn't play for a few weeks, so you didn't see them for the last couple of weeks, which sounds about right as well, but they are here again today. So yeah, they just really played each other in a string of events. Actually, before that, the rest of this year, Oliveira had the heads up on herO. Obviously, he got that win at Katowice in those semi-finals, and then he won a couple of matches along the way as well. So herO 4-3 against Oliveira this year is maybe some worthwhile information. We do have our top level gateways coming through, Banshee and the cloaking on the way out. So Oliveira going for a pretty aggressive stance at the start of this game. I always feel like Banshees are a little bit of a sad affair when it comes to playing against a Stargate because, well, you're playing against someone that's going to have the detection of the Oracles, you're playing against someone that's going to have the air defense of the Phoenix. Banshees often don't work well there unless the first Oracle really is out of position and not quite close enough to where it needs to be. Let's just have a few Adepts making their way forward. Stalker is going to come out. And we have ourselves... Yeah, I mean, again, if units are out of position, that's when the Banshees could do well. But the first Banshee's only just moving out. These Adepts are going to hit quite soon, so Oliveira are going to have to deal with this quickly. To the point where I might even consider, if I was him, pulling my Banshees back to help defend. I mean, it really depends how much he has. Yeah, I think he actually has enough. He actually has quite a lot of units, so... The Banshee would be a good defense against the Adepts, but then, of course, it's not out on the map trying to deal damage. And right now, the Oracle and the Phoenix over here, the Adepts are going to commit in, so in we go. Man, Adepts always surprise me how good they are against Marines. I look at these tanks, I'm like, tank and the cycle, I'm like, yeah, surely that's enough, but These Adepts are so tanky in the early game. They take so many shots to go down. 11 SCVs. We're waiting for this Banshee to make a move. Banshee number 2 is going to show up. I actually don't love showing this here because obviously that does mean it's like, hey, look, I've got a Banshee. And now you start up a new Oracle even though you just killed the Oracle. So now you start getting detection ready again. Now this Banshee does show up and it will start getting kills. This could have happened a little bit sooner. It will cloak up. It will guarantee a few more kills. Will it do enough to dislodge the 13 workers killed that herO just found? 5 so far. The other Banshee again back at home. And we're going to get to 7 kills, 8 kills. You know, it's going to get majority of the way. We're just waiting for that Oracle to show up with the Revelation. No blink here, remember, so it's a really smart move to move back to the main base because the Stalkers cannot chase that Banshee as easily as they might usually. The Phoenix will be a death sentence for this Banshee, though. That will now guaranteed go down. And from here, you pretty much just have to say, okay, right, well, Banshee's going to die. He got 12 probes killed. That's really not so bad. The big question mark now was all that worker damage that Oliveira took also too much army damage? He lost all of his Marines. He lost his initial tank, his Cyclone. Losing these things definitely disrupts you, and you can see herO going to try and take a gold base to follow up. If he gets away with the gold, then that is incredible. The Banshee, though, on the bottom left has just spotted, I believe, this gold base. It saw the probe moving away from it. I don't know if he had to really turn to double-check it, but he does double-check it. He does see it, so guaranteed knows about that base. herO's attempt of sliding the gold down unseen is not going to go unnoticed. As we do have an Oracle moving forward, just going to drop a Revelation in on the orbital command. We have our Forge coming up, Nexus still coming through, a couple of Probies, a Phoenix, and just in general, a lot of setting up continuing. We do have our Banshee there, a few Marines are going to come stemming across, just push that Oracle away for a few moments. And yeah, Resonating Glaives is on the way up. Next is about to finish. A couple more probes coming through. The +1 attack upgrade on the Forge is building in as well. So just getting all of that on the way here to begin with. Those Marines still coming through. The couple Widow Mines are popping out. The Marines getting tagged by a Revelation. A couple of Adepts negotiating. Now down towards the center, obviously just trying to get away. Oliveira's army is genuinely starting to look pretty good, man. You got a few more Adepts coming in from here. He's going to try and play Glaives, but that's one thing about this build, obviously, because he was so aggressive. Yeah, it's a Stargate opening, so you have Stargate tech. But then the rest of your tech is delayed because he essentially rebuilt into the Oracle. His first Phoenix got rebuilt. And now you've got a much better army here as Oliveira, so he's going to have the shot at dealing some damage on this counter. And across the map we go. Again, Adepts right now are not great, especially if they get led into this Widow Mine, which Oliveira does correctly retarget to make sure the hallucination doesn't set it off. And I think herO might just about have enough. Oliveira does have more units loading into Medivac. He's going to start dropping the bottom left. There's basically no defense over there, as this Banshee is just going to take some attention into the main base for a few moments. Now the Medivacs want to drop in the main where there's not vision. Medivacs down the left side, we'll see the gateway, and like I say, Glaives now is done, so these Adepts are going to be a bit more powerful. Phoenix do spot the Medivacs moving up over here. Oliveira will just move forward. I was going to say grab a pylon or two, although he stops just hitting the Cybercore. I mean, I guess the Cybercore is good if you have enough time to actually get rid of it. 9 probes go down, bottom left side. Now 14 workers go down, so this is turning into a really good offense for Oliveira. The +1 attack upgrade will help him with the trades. And I honestly just think he has enough that he's not getting overwhelmed, and especially because he splits up. It makes sure that herO never really gets to the overwhelming point of being able to just win out with one big group of Adepts on an army, which is kind of what Adepts want to do. You know, if you want a comparison, you can think of them kind of like Roach Styles in ZVT, where a lot of the time the Roach Styles' goal is to overwhelm and to win before the Terran army gets big enough. This is the exact same case. The Adepts here are never going to overwhelm this army at this point. It's just too far gone. So Oliveira's done a great job of establishing himself into just a very guaranteed position in this game. Like I say, it's very hard for him to really get dislodged at this point. herO is going to try his best. If he shades in there, those initial Widow Mines are going to do huge things. And I love this from Oliveira, chasing forwards once the Adept Shade is used, because there's no reason to worry once the Adept Shade's on cooldown. These units will never close the distance. If you can get forward and get some free shots off, you're only taking an advantage from the situation. As yo, Shakyo, thank you so much for the 7-month resub on the Prime. Much appreciated. I hope you're having a great day. Happy New Week to you. It is, of course, a wonderful Monday, guys. We'll have a bunch of StarCraft 2 coming up this week. Talk more about that later though, because right now this game is heating up and staying at... well, actually, this is very interesting because Oliveira is just going to let herO essentially base trade. You know what? herO's army is terrible at base trading. It's really good at killing SCVs. It's terrible at killing structures, and I think Oliveira just knows, well, I have the stronger army, so in theory, I'm kind of just fine if I kind of do something of a base trade, because you're never going to eventually be able to beat my army when it comes down to that. I have the ability to float. If you recall, I'm not afraid. You know, there's all of the good plays, basically, from herO in a base trade, such as recalling at the right time, you know, sometimes splitting up, chasing that. Like, all of these things are just not really eligible with his current army. So, Oliveira probably says, cool, a base trade, which is much more favored to me than it ever usually would be. He knocks down some pylons. herO is going to get supply blocked. Army supplies are similar. Oliveira will have an additional armor upgrade, but just the fact that it's stimmed bio units against basic, well, not really basic gateway units. As the recall comes in, we're going to burrow the Widow Mines. Those Widow Mines are going to get to go off on all the Phoenix. Kaboom, and they are going to get absolutely torn to shreds. This is not a good recall either, right? I mean, this is just half an army. I mean, if you're going to recall everything. I feel like recalling half the army is almost always going to put you in trouble, as Oliveira does take game number 1 of this best of 3. And the European Cup was, back in the day as well, there was a lot of signups. There was like 128 signups or more every single week. And to me, a lot of the European Cup was basically like 2 to 3 hours of trying to find matches that was somewhat interesting. Or, you know, we made a meme out of Tingle Tangle, for example. You know, basically you could try and struggle through the first couple of hours where the games really aren't as interesting or as competitive. Maybe there's some competitive matches, but it's one of those scenarios where it's like you're cheering for a guy to make round of 16 where you know he's then going to get knocked out by a Clem or someone. And you have those 2 or 3 hours, and then you finally get into the interesting like round of 8 or so. And it's just the same, maybe not the round of 8's the same, the round of 8's maybe the most interesting part, because then after that it becomes the same 4 players every single week, or that's how it felt for me. Obviously not exactly true, it wasn't exactly the same 4 players every week, but there was definitely a little bit of repetition in the European Cup, and I know it's kind of the Clement Maxback show each week now, but you know, it's kind of part of the reason I fell out of love with the Open Cup Korea, Open Cup Europe, just because the repetition really was there. And I don't think that would be so bad if you just tune in. There's a bunch of cool matches, but like tuning in and doing the first 2 to 3 hours, which were just so hit and miss. Like sometimes you get some entertaining games and go back and forth, but what really bugged me was even if you got that, they were probably completely non-influential on the tournament, right? Like they just had no actual impact on anything else that happened in the event, because it was just a question of which of these guys gets to move on to get knocked out by Clem. Obviously on the rare occasion you had your upsets and so, but yeah, I don't know. The Asia Cup is a little bit more competitive, I would say, in that regard. Like, Bjorn, Dark, herO maybe dominate this, Kua. But, like I said, at least you get straight into the action. At least you get straight to the point of, oh, you know, who's, you know, like, straight into the good games. You know, first match of the day, herO Oliveira. There's no messing around, at least, so a little bit more bearable, I guess. So, yeah. I don't know what you do about that, because even if you change up the seating in theory, like, maybe the brackets are a bit different, but realistically it's still kind of the same set of players, so I guess it's not completely the same point I'm trying to make, but close enough. Close enough, we shall say. Proxy Gateway here from herO, if you've been watching the screens, and he is going to show up now with the Zeldin Stalker. Second gateway back at home, builds his Nexus on the 3rd location because of the engineering bay block of Oliveira going unnoticed. This is a good defense for Oliveira. He's going to, with the engineering bay block, it's natural to go factory before you expand. He's going to get a Cyclone out from that factory. And with that Cyclone out, he is going to be in a much better defensive position than he was a few moments ago, that is for sure. So, going to be looking a lot better there. As we just move up. And try to see a little bit more of what's going on. We'll just have ourselves a Cyclone coming through. The Adept will be there as well to push that back, push things away. There's a couple of gateways coming through. The Robo Facility halfway done. And let's see if he's just patrolling around. So a little bit of setting up, guys. Obviously, herO's build, wouldn't say it was too successful. Now he's going to go, what, straight up 4-gate with a Prism? Oh, herO is bringing the fire in this game number 2. Obviously, it was fairly aggressive game 1 as well with that heavy adept attack. And now with 4 gateways, this has to just be a prism, and you just try and send it. There's the prism coming up. I suppose, obviously, it's at least 2 base 4 gates, so there's some amount of, hey, if this doesn't quite kill you, I can get a follow-up going or something along those lines, but hard to say it's an ideal scenario, right? Let's push forward. A depot will go down. It's going to provide some access and maybe gives you some opportunities. Defense so far from Oliveira looks very good. The only bad thing for him right now is a supply block. So just has to work his way out of that. Obviously, he is on 1 base, which kind of makes it feel like herO can't really do much. Which is kind of annoying from herO's point of view, because herO's looking at this and he's like, huh. Like, I'm committed to a 4 gate, I need to do something, but my opponent's just sitting on 1 base. So yeah, Oliveira will not have the economy, but does he have the absolute tech to take down herO's force? Yes, he does. Poses a very intriguing scenario for herO. How do you then approach this? Do you try and break through? Do you just settle for keeping your opponent on 1 base? Is that enough? There's Twilight Councils. We actually Elevator up over here. The tanks have just moved to the side. If they were where they were originally set up, they would have been in perfect position. Now, you're going to have to improvise on the fly. Well, herO's going to send it. 4 Zealots warp into this base as well, so they are going to completely commit in. There's going to be seen a couple of Zealots taking some shots still. Well, this army of herO can move back around. Another tank shot. Just going to see a couple of Stalkers getting struck right there. Like I say, herO's army, unless it recalls out, is very much so stuck in here, so he's not really gaining anything anymore. Like maybe keeping this refinery down on the edge, but we're about to get our natural anyway. As these tanks move further forward, yeah, we're going to try and recall. Oliveira sees that as a chance. He gets rid of, I believe, double sentry. Yeah, he got both the sentries, so nice pickoffs. Units that are going to cost a little bit more to replace, and which you do typically want to have kept alive, right? Those are units you still want to see in your army. Force fields, guardian shields, almost always going to be useful, so it's nice to keep some of those around when possible. Let's just take a few moments. We got ourselves the prism coming back in. That's obviously the power of this prism, able to kind of shoot and just reappear. There's a cooldown supply table. That's actually pretty big. That's 16 supply lost all at once. The Raven tries to get auto turrets down. Does get them in the end, but it goes down. Doesn't really gain anything from dropping those auto turrets into place. So nothing really gained there. No real kind of net positive. Temple Archives, Chrono Boost now. That Storm as herO gets ready for the next phase of this game. Obviously, Oliveira, during all of this, slowly move towards his natural. And herO is still yet to clean out, because he's been so aggressive, he's still yet to clean out the Engineering Bay blocking his natural, which is why he's on the 3rd base to begin with. So it comes through. That's a couple shots off. And just going to be seen again, Storm on the way up. As the Viking gets a few hits off on that Prism, so Prism's still taking some hits here. Again, a couple of High Templar, a few Zealots, Storm on the way. Marines and tanks come forward. The Stalkers get chased back pretty much immediately. So just going to get those pushed away there. As that tank siege, they unsiege, and we do continue to just go chasing forward. Zealots going to start turning into this. Tanks will siege again. That's a good Storm on some of the SCVs that were pulled in. And there's so many tanks, but you've got to be able to protect these tanks. Oliveira already on a very low work account. Can his army do it? He's going to get rid of this Archon. It does not get saved by the Prism. 32 to 17 army supply. That one single gateway, don't think it has much of an impact here because, well, you've got 3 other gates at home. 2 High Templar are going to regen some energy. You do not have Medivacs in this army as Oliveira, so every Storm is going to be permanent, hurting damage. Not exactly where you want to be playing from either, as we see the few Zealots moving back around. The Marines are going to move up, and she's going to get onto this mineral line as well. I mean, there's a lot of power here, do not get me wrong. These Stalkers from the other side are just going to die. Not sure what they were trying to achieve. There's a few Zealots are going to come charging forward. The High Templar, can we target those down? I think we just got one of them. A couple of Zealots will start to fall. There's only 2 siege tanks left here. The Zealots will not get this siege tank. Good on siege. The friendly fire would have killed the tank there. So, Oliveira, 36 to 13 army supply. But of course, Protoss, Warpins, do come in waves, and so the army supply will bounce back a little bit from herO, and I just do not think we're very far away from losing these couple of tanks, although there's a new tank right now. Banshee shows up, shoots down. Okay, that's amazing. He just shot down the Stalker. Now he can shoot down the High Templar as well. The last salad comes through. The Immortal's being hit. Super Battery will save the Immortal, but my goodness, what a crazy situation this becomes all of a sudden. Well, tanks, Marines still moving up. The Banshee hitting the Immortal hard. The Fusel's going to come through again. Next tank trying to get siege. We just need the tanks to target fire the Immortal down. Then we're back down to basic gateway units here. The Banshee has fallen though, and I think that's actually a pretty big deal, all things considered right now, because that Banshee was starting to do a lot. And Oliveira's army supply I just don't think is quite enough to actually break through in the end. It's just taken a little bit too long to really break through on all of this. herO's on 3 bases with saturation. Obviously he's got that 3rd base to the right side. Still never knocked down the engineering base, so he's just playing bases all over the map. I don't think it really matters. I don't think this is enough from Oliveira. Some close pushes, but in the end it looks as though herO has just about done enough to get himself a W here today on the game number 2 at least, and that is obviously going to make it 1-1 and go into a game 3 for the first time today. Is always very exciting and very cool. So very excited for that game 3. I'll be coming up in a few moments' time. At this point, it's only a matter of time for herO to bust through this natural and put an end to this game number 2. So we're just patiently waiting on that to come around. Banshee of Oliveira heads up to the upper right-hand side. He's going to be able to take a turn, move in towards this mineral line, go after a few probes most likely. Oliveira's just going to GG. He knows the army is coming his way. He knows there's not much reason to stick around. 3 of this best of 3. We are going to go the distance as we said. Great start to the day. Great match to start the day, and then when the match lives up to, you know, expectations and a little bit of hype, there's always a little bit of a special, like, you know, huzzah to that as well. Like, let's go, you know. Always happy when things go nicely and they go funly. Bottom left-hand side from Hecate is going to be our Red Terran player from Dragon Kaiser Gaming. It's Oliveira. Taking on the top right, the Blue Protoss player from Dragon Kaiser Gaming. It is herO. Game 3 of our series. To get this underway. Barracks coming through. Probe going to move up to the top. Get ourselves settled here for a little bit. We're going to be seeing an orbital command coming through as well. Just bringing that up, getting that underway. Take a few moments to get settled down. SCV begins to move across to the upper right-hand side of the map, so it's going to get over the other side. Factory about halfway done. Reactor still coming up. And there's going to be Stargate from herO, so a very different style of play. It's been, well, I guess we saw Stargate into that big adept attack in game 1. Obviously, Stargate just feels a bit more macro-y, but it's just been such an aggressive series so far. As our reactor will finish up, Factory is going to be popping out a Cyclone defensive beginnings here from Oliveira. It'd be cool to see Oliveira take down herO one time again. Like I say, the last 3 times they've met in Open Cup Koreas, they have gone the way of herO. 2-0, 2-1, and 2-1. That was in Cups 193, 194, and 195. It's been a few weeks. This is Cup 199. And at the moment, we have ourselves a tied-up situation. Let's see if it's one Oliveira can take advantage of or not. There's a couple of adepts will go shading around, shade up in toward the main base. Cyclone will move out onto the map. The bunker coming up. Again, Starport is about to finish here as well. So just getting that Starport finish. Couple of Marines, couple of SCVs, all coming through. A Cyclone getting a cheeky little lock on. Chase down a Phoenix as well. It's just going to get a bit of a push going over in that direction. So, again, job well done on that one. So far, so good. A couple of SCVs and Marines. A Raven. All coming out. You've been getting a healthy number of upsets in the ESL Masters, don't I think? I don't actually know. Honestly, I didn't watch over the weekend. I haven't seen Saturdays or Sundays games. So, I'd say we had maybe one upset. Yeah, I can think of Blind Mana from the first round that I casted, but I honestly haven't followed over the weekend, so I probably don't know what you're talking about. I took yesterday completely. I streamed on Saturday myself, and on Sunday I took. Yesterday I was just completely took off from StarCraft, so. And now it's Monday, and we're already casting as our Cyclone gets picked and killed. It's obviously a bit of a shame. Here we're able to get that nice and easily as he's going to go pinging onto that barracks. Factory will move over the side. Just seeing ourselves. A couple of SCVs, a couple of Marines all coming out. Another depot coming through. Stimpak on the way. All of this being established as we speak. So far, so good. Again, the Twilight Council and the Forge coming in. The Probe and the Immortal all on the way out as well. All of this just coming through for the moment. As our Phoenix get back into main base here. Looking to see what's up. Going to grab a couple of SCVs to start us off. Things still moving deeper into this main base as the Phoenix going to have to lift off and back away. Plus one attack is on the way through. Those Phoenix do rotate back into the center of the map. Marines coming through, just going to push the Phoenix back. One STV goes down on the refinery. As we just have ourselves the charge upgrade coming in alongside the +1 attack upgrade. So far, 4 SCVs, 2 Cyclones, 2 Marines. Phoenix play has been efficient for sure out of herO. Again, the power point here from Oliveira. We'll see how herO does defensively, but playing charge. It basically becomes very difficult for the Terran player to ever really push into the Protoss. You know, charge is just such a good ability. It makes those zealots so good at closing the distance, actually getting involved in the fight, actually being able to tank so much better. Even chase potential with zealots becomes a big deal, so yeah, we'll see if Oliveira can find much, but I'm not going to hold my breath because, like I say, in my eyes, charge is a very good upgrade to have. herO has not gone for a super fast third base, so you should have plenty of resources to spend on units as well up until now. And that really just, again, should limit the chances of Oliveira getting in for some serious damage. And as he tries to come through, herO is going to hit with the Warp Prism. The Phoenix there as well. Man, what if there is just no units at home from herO, though? And he warps in over here, too. Unless he's just going to go for as much damage as possible and then recall. I can't say I love this right now, as double high tempo get warped in. I was going to say, the Raven kind of gets nothing off. I would have loved to see some matrices even, right? Because then you don't have to deal with these sentries, perhaps. Now you give your opponent even more time to be dealing damage on the other side, while preparing warp-ins on this side. 2 Immortals and Archon going to be powerful as the Phoenix taking out a few of the Marines, taking out some of the DPS here. GG says Oliveira. herO's just going to come crashing down on him. And honestly, just didn't get enough done